what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds.
And I'm Amanda.
And this is the Samuel and Amanda Show, where we talk about money, marriage, and life. And this week, what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about tenants.
Tenants! And also, we're going to be responding and reacting to unhappy tenants on TikTok and looking at their point of view, because we often we pull our hair out with tenants. I mean, honestly, especially in our HMO properties, if you have like a young professional moving in, they might say things like that. They'll ring up and they'll say, the light in my room isn't working. And you're like, oh, that's really odd. And you send the electrician out and the electrician calls up and says, it's because the bulb ran out. That kind of thing happens all the time. So we see things from the landlord's perspective. However, we're going to be looking at TikTok videos of tenants moaning. Some of them are quite funny. Mandy's not seen the videos.
I haven't seen them, so it'll be my first reaction to them.
I've checked the videos out. Some of them are really funny. Some of them I actually agree with the tenant. Other times I agree with the landlord. If you're a landlord or if you're a tenant, comment below. Let me know, are you a landlord or are you a tenant? Or, like me and Amanda, are you both? Because we actually are a tenant as well.
Yes, we are.
We rent this house that we live in. So, all right, we're gonna react to some of the videos. However, please do like the video if you enjoy these videos that me and Amanda do. Let us know by liking the video. We had loads of likes last week.
I know, you guys really showed us the love last week.
In fact, the last week's video that me and Amanda did was our most popular Samanda show video that we've ever done. So we're gonna respond to some of these videos. So
let's do it.
Let's start with this one. This one was my favourite. This one I thought was really funny.
Okay.
Just checking in to see how you're getting on with the flat. Oh, it's infested with rats. Oh dear, but I don't really see how that's a me problem. That kind of sounds more like a you problem. I mean, aren't you the one living there? Anyway, while I've got you on the phone, I need to know what you're going to be doing at the end of the 12-month tenancy. I know we're only 1 week in, but this is my livelihood. The idea of that house, that flat, being empty for more than a day turns my stomach. If you're not going to want to take it, let me know, because I need to do viewings on the flat. There's going to be a lot of viewings, because no one's going to want to take it, because no one's as stupid as you. Anyway, yeah, just let me know, alright? Bye.
What? What was the caption on that? What was the caption?
That was
just an impression of his landlord.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. The landlord sounds like he literally just does that, like that's his thing, like he's just literally just breathing down the tenant's back all the time, because he clearly hasn't got anything else to be doing.
Oh, there's rats, sounds more like a you problem. That's brilliant. Come a bit closer. What do you think of the clip?
I just thought it was just a funny impression. I'd love to see what the landlord would actually be like.
Well, probably just like that.
And that was quite funny. It's only a week in as well. It's already like, how long are you going to be staying? I know, it's like, whoa, chill out, give it a chance.
After the 12 months, wasn't it? Yeah, I think, you know what? I think that with tenants, number one, in terms of what they're going to do after a year, the reason someone's renting is because they want flexibility. Yeah. So, genuinely, the tenant often doesn't know what they're going to be doing in a year.
I know. So who would know though? Like in a year's time, it's like, really?
Whoever his landlord is completely unreasonable.
So funny. And with the rats.
And the rats thing as well. Okay, whose job is it to get rid of rats? Landlords or tenants?
Usually pests, I believe, are the the tenant's thing to sort.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure. When it's like, because when it's been like, I don't know if it's different when it's HMOs.
Oh, if it's HMOs, it's totally different.
Yeah. When it's HMOs, definitely, I always feel like we just sort it out.
Yeah.
But when it's just like a normal buy-to-let, me personally, for our tenants, I have always sorted it out just because I just think.
The thing is,
I do think technically they should just contact the council, and then that's how they usually do it.
I think we're probably too nice, because in our experience with our tenants, if a tenant contacted us with a pest problem as landlords, we would sort it. We have had people message us, haven't we, and say they've got like a wasp nest in the garden or whatever, and we've stepped in and sorted it. But then as tenants, we never would call the landlord.
Yeah, we just sort it ourselves. If we're living in the house, then we just
Yeah,
sort it.
and I think it might also depend on the size of the house and the circumstances. But generally speaking, it's good to just keep the tenants sweet and keep them on side. And how much? I think it costs like £35 to get someone to go out and move the wasp nest.
Well, yeah.
It's not really worth arguing about. All right, next. This one's funny as well.
I just got a call from my landlord and he said, "Hello, is this Max?" I said, "Yes, it is." And he said, "Hi, well, you don't know this, but when you started renting the property, we'd actually brought the rent down because of COVID." And he said, "So, we're going to have to bring it back up again." I said, "No." And he said, "Yeah, so it's going to be an extra £200 a month." I said, "No." I said, "Was that in my contract?" And he said, "No, you see, it wasn't." So I said, "Well, guess bloody what then?" "No." And he said, "Oh, well, I'll have to go away and then ring some people up and then I'll let you know if they make the final decision as to whether you have to pay it." I said, "Listen, you clearly don't know who I am. I once verbally wrestled with my landlord for a good 5 to 6 months over a £45 fine that I shouldn't have paid. You can get to fuck."
He is hilarious.
What do you think?
I think the landlord is just ridiculous.
Oh, I think the landlord's ridiculous as
It's
well.
like, mate,
do landlords
come
do this?
on.
Do they actually
that
do this?
seems just so ridiculous. Like, £200 as well. I mean, come on.
So he wants to increase
like,
it by £200.
Oh
The thing is, it all depends on the
goodness.
other side of the story. Is he in contract or not? That's the question.
well, I guess he says they're not. He says, "Is it in my contract?" He said, "No, it's not."
No. What I'm saying is, like, let's say you move into a house and you sign a 6-month AST contract.
Yeah.
If the 6-month AST contract then ends and you're
Oh, right.
enrolling,
And then you now want it, yeah.
and then you want to put the rent
Yeah,
up,
I
then,
guess that's different.
then that's fine.
Yeah.
It does sound
But
like an awful
It sounds
lot.
like he's just trying to change the goalpost, the landlord.
Yeah. Also, if
All
you
of a sudden, just because he just thinks, "Oh, I can get a bit more rent now."
if you put the rent up, generally speaking, I mean, £200. I don't know how much rent he's paying, but
I know, that seems extortionate.
that's a lot of rent to put
Yeah,
up by.
it is.
So, and
It is.
he sounds like a funny guy.
He's funny.
All
I love his personality. He seems really funny.
right, next.
I thought paying rent was like my subscription fee, that everything in my apartment will be taken care of, and now I just learned I have to buy my own light bulbs and install them myself? Where am I supposed to get a fluorescent light bulb? Where do they sell those?
They sell them
No.
in shops.
I'm not with him.
Disagree with
I don't know
him.
if he's joking, but even if he's
hope he's
joking,
joking.
I'm sure that there's some truth in it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he feels. Nah, I mean, it depends on the property you're renting, I guess. If you're renting like a professional high-end HMO property, but yeah, he's the kind of tenant that you just don't want.
Yeah, I know. Someone who's just, he's entitled, isn't he? He's just expecting that just because he's paying you rent, that you have to do everything, include wiping his bum.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of tenants that move out for the first time, one of the things that we often avoid is a tenant who's moving out of their family home for the first time. So maybe like a 22-year-old who's lived at home their entire life and it's their first time moving into a house. They tend to be the worst kind of tenants because they're used to, sometimes, they're used to their moms doing everything for them, cooking, cleaning. They leave mess, the other tenants don't like them, they ring up because there's no toilet paper in the property. You know,
Or bin liners. Ugh.
that kind of stuff. So those are the worst kind of tenants, because when you move into a HMO, you kind of, it's nice when they appreciate the fact that there's bin liners already in the house. Oh,
Yeah.
this is nice. But then to them be ringing up,
Yeah.
really annoying.
Yeah, the best I feel like tenants are the tenants that are kind of a bit more older, mature,
Yeah.
have really good jobs, and literally the house is their home, but it's like their base. They go to work, come
Yeah.
home. Yeah. it's
Tenants in their 30s as opposed to tenants in their 20s
Yeah.
do tend to be better.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've been very stereotypical. All right, last one. Let us know what you think about these videos as well. Do you agree with us? What do you think about what they're saying? All right, last one. Let's see what this is.
I'm really angry, but I'm trying so hard to be calm. My previous tenancy agency are trying to charge me for an end of tenancy clean, which by the way is illegal in the UK now, but they're claiming it's because I left it in a terrible state compared to when I got it. Bearing in mind, when I got that flat, it was filthy. I have emails saying this is disgusting, you need to pay me for cleaning. They said they don't do cleaning. The carpets were covered in faeces and urine. Anyway, I have picture evidence of that and picture evidence of my flat being clean when I left. But they're saying that, you know, they had to get a cleaner in. So I asked them to send proof of invoice, and the invoice is made up, the company doesn't exist. and the photo evidence are just photos of everything else but what they're saying needed cleaning. Bearing in mind the things that they said did need cleaning are what was there when I moved in, and again I have photo evidence of that, but they're trying to charge me and the company doesn't exist.
Oh.
They sound awful, the letting agent.
Yeah, and you know what I also think as well? I think I don't know why, I have a feeling that she's probably a really good tenant.
Yeah.
She moved into this property and it apparently was in a state. That's dreadful.
Yeah,
but,
that's awful.
Who knows the circumstances and why that was. But then the fact that I really hate it, and I've had this done, we've had this, when you leave the property immaculate, but then the landlord tries to find something.
I know, that's the worst.
It's almost like the landlord doesn't want to give you your deposit back just because, and then they're like, I mean, Russell, my brother, had a situation whereby he was renting a property and he asked the landlord permission if he could do a bit of nice
turf, grass.
Yeah, put some turf down at the back, make the garden nice. Also put a few slabs down, because the garden previously, by the way, was dreadful. It was just like overgrown, not nice. And Russell asked the landlord, "Can I have permission to do this, this, this?" And the landlord was like, "Yeah, that's absolutely fine." And then when Russell and Anna moved out, the landlord said, "Oh, I didn't want those slabs down," and he tried to charge Russell to move the slabs. And the landlord never really moved the slabs. He was just, I think,
You're just trying to hold some money back just to get some quick cash.
Just give landlords, just give your tenants the deposit back.
I know.
The purpose of a deposit is to stop them trashing the place. I mean, I'm sure we as well, like we left, oh, what was it now?
It was the barn when we moved out of our barn.
What happened?
The bath had, there was like a little crack on the bath panel, and it had always been there when we moved in. But then when we moved out, suddenly the landlord was all trying, like, he was picking little things that usually anyway would be maybe wear and tear, but we hadn't caused the damage, and it was just like, why are you doing this?
And I'm sure we left something like a spoon on the kitchen, and he tried to charge us like £10 to move the spoon or
it was
some,
just,
one of the drawers. I think from if I'm advising a tenant, what I'll say is when you move into a property, make sure that when the inventory is done, because there should always be an inventory, so when you move into a property or when you move somebody into your property, it's just pictures and a description of exactly what the property's like. If you're a tenant, just make sure that you check the inventory, check it's right, check it's fair, look around the property yourself, and if you see any, you know, crack marks on the doors, marks on the walls, cracks in the sinks, or anything like that at all, make the agent or the landlord put it in the inventory. And if you're a landlord, just don't be a greedy jerk. You just don't need to be. It's quite obvious when a tenant has, I mean, there was a time I remember once when we accidentally left an iron mark in the carpet, and we just said, we owned up to it. We said, oh, we've actually, unfortunately, they've, now, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, of course, pay for that to be rectified. But generally speaking, if you've got a tenant, if they move out, you can tell if the property is left.
You can tell that they've been looking after it, and then some things have just happened. It's just because someone's been living in the house. But yeah, I always make sure that, check the inventory. I think you usually have like 7 days to respond with additional things. But even if I notice something after that time period, I literally just take a photo, send it to the agent, and make them confirm that they've received it. And then that way, at the end of the tenancy, then they can just, you know.
And also, if the landlord is complaining about something, as a tenant, you should say, look, if you're upset with it, let me come and fix it. Let me come and then they'll normally say, I don't bother.
Because they're not even going to use that money to fix it. They're just doing it to just cause you trouble for, you know, just to get some extra
just because the landlord resents giving you the deposit back, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Another thing as well with tenants and landlords is putting up the rent. If you've got a tenant that's good and that's been there years, we often have this where, because rents have boomed the last couple of years, rents have gone up like really high. My advice is to be reasonable, is don't think you either have to just keep the rent the same or you have to put it right up and have it at the going rent. You can kind of compromise. So we had some tenants that were paying rent of about £550. Now the going rent is about £750, but we've met in the middle and we've said, look, the rents are actually about £750 now, you're paying £550. You're a really nice family and we want you to stay in the property. However, we are going to have to put the rent up a little bit to £650. I hope that's okay. And they were fine with that, weren't they? And they were like, oh, thank you so much. They're not going to move out because if they move out, they're going to have to pay £750. But at the same time, I think it's about being fair and about being reasonable, and remembering that your tenants are your customers. And if you didn't have tenants, then you actually we wouldn't have a passive income if we didn't have tenants. So massive love to all of our tenants, and I hope you never ever feel like some of these TikTok tenants feel. But at the same time, as landlords, I mean, look, if you sometimes dealing with entitled tenants is also terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Especially the HMO ones. When I used to manage HMOs, my goodness, some of the things, literally, oh, this person's put cheese on my shelf in the fridge, and it's like, why am I having to get involved in this?
I feel like everybody needs to just take a class on being a decent human being class. You know, a lot of landlords need to go on it, but also some tenants need to go on it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, what should they do?
You should like and comment and subscribe for more content.
There we go. We'll see you guys next time, and thanks again for watching.
Thanks guys, bye.